Did you know? School Sport Victoria offers 650,000 sporting opportunities in 31 different sports at 10,700 events across the state every single year. That's a lot of kids playing sport. And for over 25 years, the Victorian School Sports Awards have recognised more than 1,500 students, teachers and volunteers for excellence and outstanding contribution to school sport. Now that's a champion effort.
Hi everybody, Howard Lewis here from School Sport Victoria, and we're very fortunate today on our fourth instalment of School Sport Victoria Live to have Kyle Adnam from the Southeast Melbourne Pheonix. Welcome, Kyle.
Hey Howard, yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, so we've had a really good input from all our SSV sports fans out there that you're on, and we're always very excited to have some of our partners join us for School Sport Victoria events. So welcome. I'm just going to tell everybody a bit about you, and then we'll just see some of you in action. So Kyle's an Australian professional basketball player, and he plays for the Southeast Melbourne Pheonix in the National Basketball League. Off some media reports, people tell us that Kyle has a relentless pursuit for excellence. He's a spark plug and has been for a few of the NBL clubs he plays for. And Kyle has played in a backup point guard role just in the past season for the new franchise that came in for the Southeast Melbourne Pheonix. His reputation is really as a formidable opponent. He takes pride in effort and tenacity whenever his number is called. But this last season was definitely his season for growth and certainty, and understands the need for continual improvement when playing alongside some experienced crop of players. And there's some really great guards playing, not only for Southeast Melbourne Pheonix, but also in the league. And so you've got some stiff opposition, but you really took it to them throughout the season, Kyle, and I really commend you on your season.
Thanks very much. Yeah, there's some very good players in the NBL, and I plan to progress as fast as I can in my career and get to their level. Yeah,
so I believe we're going to throw to a video of you in action, some highlights from a game where you just caught fire for against the Sydney Kings. So hopefully we'll see that right now.
Doesn't look like a man shooting 29% from the three-point line. He's just coming out super aggressive.
You know, runs, the more you miss, the closer you are to your next make. Kyle Adnam makes that. Tonight is Mitch Creek's favourite for the MVP in this Hungry Jacks NBL 20 as Kyle Adnam drops in a bomb. Why not give it back to Taylor? He spins in. He spun so much he made himself dizzy. Gave it up. Kyle Adnam in to kick it, and he drops a much-needed two on him.
Everyone having the opportunity to bring the ball down the floor. Traditionally, you're saying the guards have got to come back and get it. That time, Kyle didn't come back. He makes up for it on that one with a nice little mid-range.
He also said anytime we have free throws, I want to face guard after free throws and push up the court. Get stops, run, have some fun.
Nice work, Brad. Adnam's been firing. Good to see Kyle Adnam filling it up a couple of times. Haven't been in it for a while, and yet haven't been completely out of it either. 14 points, 7 minutes, and Adnam keeps the door open.
And this is something the Sydney Kings have done very well this season. We talk about their stars. We know how good they are as Kyle Adnam tees up another one here, gets it to go. Their bench players have really stood up.
From one end to the other, Brad Newley, and he's just about sealed the job. Adnam down the other end, 42 seconds left.
Oh, great job, Kyle. I'm just going to go through a bit of your career history, but please feel free to jump in. You started your juniors with the Mount Evelyn Meteors and progressed right through the Kilsyth Cobras, and you kind of went from them right through the under-12s right through to the Siebel, and you've been a little bit of a journeyman the last few years following your pursuit. of making it at the highest level. You played for the 36ers, the Hawks up in Wollongong, Melbourne United. Hopefully, you'll share a bit about that in a little while because you had a great season with them. And you played in New Zealand and you had a little go with the Kings, but we're really excited that you're back in Melbourne. Do you want to just touch on some of those little things quickly?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, when you become a professional or looking to become a professional, you kind of have the option of either going to college or, starting out professionally post high school. I chose to stay here professionally. So, at times that can mean that you may jump around a little bit while you're becoming a development player and trying to figure, what roster you potentially have a chance of really making. So yeah, there was definitely some experiences in other states that I think helped really grow me. And I think, now at this point in my career has definitely made me the player I am. So I can, come into this Melbourne season as the past season, and I'd love to spend the rest of my career here.
Well, we're really glad you're back in the heartland. And some of those kids are itching to get and have a chat with you, and we've got some questions that they will ask and some that I will ask on their behalf. So we're going to quickly move on, and we've got Marcus from Patterson Lakes Primary School. Marcus, go ahead and ask your question of Kyle.
Hi. Question.
Oh,
What was the transition like from Kilsyth to the NBL?
Hey Marcus, how you going? Love the jersey first and foremost. That is unreal. I hope it's got a number 4 on it. Yeah, the journey from Kilsyth to the NBL was
Yeah, it does.
was great. Yeah, the journey from Kilsyth to the NBL was a great one. I think, having played at a junior association for almost 12 years, you definitely have a soft spot for them. And I think that I wouldn't be where I am now without that association. Sort of coming out of under 18s is when I really started hitting my strides. And I think Kilsyth and my coach at the time, Rod Pop, really pushed me. And at 18 years old, he said that I'd be starting on the Siebel team, which is the highest league underneath the NBL. So at that age, to be the starting sort of point guard and leader on the team, it was a pretty amazing accomplishment. And I think it really excelled me into that NBL career. And definitely prepared me to be a leader on the next stage, which is the NBL. And I'm always working on that side of my game.
thanks, Kyle, and thanks, Marcus, for joining us as well today on SSV Live. Kyle, could you paint a bit of a picture for us about your school sport? You told me off air that you were at Birmingham Primary School, which is in Mount Evelyn, and have you got any hoop time memories? And then can you take us on to when you were in secondary school at Mount Lilydale Mercy College? Because I know you had a great trip involved with their EISM rep team.
Yeah, I think my love of the game was almost built at a school level, and in primary school I had 3 brothers. We were all at the same school, and we'd meet at lunchtime every day and play on the asphalt courts. And I think it's really where I really developed the game. I played for my primary school, Birmingham Primary, at hoop time. Absolutely loved it. We won one, which was amazing, but we also had a couple of difficult losses too, but we often played the age group above. So I think that's really where I also learnt how to deal with bigger, faster, stronger players from a young age. So that was a really good thing for me. And obviously then transitioning into high school, had the opportunity at the EISM level to represent our school, and it's a great pathway for kids. I think that it may at times be a great opportunity for them to be exposed to some really good coaching. And I know all the representative programs are looking at school sports too, so it's a great opportunity to go out there and play for your school and with your friends.
Thanks, Kyle. We've got a question that's come in from Harsh out in Mount View. What obstacles did you come across that challenged you in your career? Great question, Harsh.
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, obviously for me, number one would be I was obviously always a smaller player. So, coming into my junior career, I was probably the last person looked at as to who was going to be a professional basketballer. If we played games of 5-on-5, I was always the last one picked. So I had a lot of hurdles in terms of just getting over, maybe not being the stereotypical basketballer. But I think it also made me the basketballer I am today. As I mentioned, I was forced to learn to lose for one, but also how to adapt and how do I create my own path and be resilient? How do I beat a stronger player, a quicker player, a taller player? And I started working on my skills, different timings of shots, different footwork, when to bump your defender, all those things I think I learned naturally from a young age, being a smaller player. So that was a big challenge, but it was also a great success as well, and one of the great things too about my career.
Yeah, got another question coming in. Hopefully we'll see it in a minute, but I've got one for you. Just a well-known Australian football coach once said, "The greatest risk is taking no risks." What is your advice to some young players about taking the game on, and what should they think if they make a mistake?
Oh, I think that's a massive question, and one that I often get asked, from parents or clubs or whatever it is. And I think that individuality in sport is the number one thing that either creates a really successful athlete or someone who may give it up. Individuality, if you look at any successful athlete, there's something that they do really well, and there's something that they really pursue. And yeah, I think it's so important to not be, sit in the back seat. And as much as you never want to be a selfish player, but it's really important that if you're just going to take a back seat all the time, I don't think you're going to progress where you want to go. You've got to go and get something that you want. And I think it's a really important message that, yeah, as I said, it's not about not being a team player, but it's about putting yourself in the forefront and in the picture of being a great player and making that commitment to yourself and team.
Great advice. We've got Elijah from Tullian Primary School. Are you ready to ask your question of Kyle? Ooh, just. I think
It was quite busy. From sort of Monday through Friday, I was training. I did NITCP on Mondays and Wednesdays. On Thursday and Friday night, I had my Cobras training plus a domestic training on Tuesday as well. And then also the Friday nights, I had games. Saturday morning games, Sunday training. So when I was quite young, Monday was about the only day that I would have kind of free. And I think it was really important to have a balance in that. It's super important to be training and always working on things that you can improve, but it's really important to have your time away from basketball as well, whether it is one day or a few hours, and enjoy that time, hang out with your friends or do something you love. But my one thing was when I went to training, I wanted to make the most of it. I didn't want to waste a training session. It was an opportunity to get better. So yeah, it's a really important thing. No matter how much you are or aren't training, I think it's really important to be training a lot. But if you're not, make sure it's really good quality training and you're really getting the most out of it.
I suppose that also meant your parents only had Monday night off too.
They sure did, and there was 3 of us, so they barely got any nights off.
Yeah. We're joined by Van from Red Hill, down in Red Hill. Can you hear us, Van? Oh, go ahead and ask the question.
Hey, Van.
Hey Kyle, I was just wondering what struggles did you face on your journey to the NBL?
Great question, Van. I think I just touched on it a little bit with my size, but I will kind of elaborate a little bit more. I had plenty of times in my career where people told me that I wasn't going to make it. I never made a state team. I never represented Vic Metro, didn't make a state team, but my goal was to, when I finished sort of under 18s and I was really coming into the age where I was potentially going to be a professional, was to be in the mix for the Australian teams. And by that time I was, and that's when I made my first Australian team. So, yeah, I had lots of challenges in people telling me that I couldn't or I wasn't the stereotypical basketballer. But in my mind, I knew what I wanted to do and I wanted to be a basketballer and I wasn't going to let other people's opinions get in front of my dream.
Cool.
Thanks for joining us, Van. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Van.
Great advice from Kyle. Kyle, moving on, I've got a question that came in from up at Bright Peter 12. Brock asked the question, is the basketball stadium you play on bigger than the one we play on in under 11?
Oh, I think they'd be pretty close. No, we are very lucky. We have a beautiful arena down in the city in Melbourne called Melbourne Arena, and it seats about 11,000 full capacity. We've sold it out a couple of times. Our first 2 games of this inaugural season sold out, which was unbelievable. But sometimes the crowd can be a distraction too, though. So, maybe you guys are a little bit luckier. You don't have this crowd screaming at you while you're shooting a free throw.
Yeah, totally. I went to the game that you guys nearly pulled off against the Sydney Kings. I think it was the second last game of the year, probably your last home game, and the atmosphere was huge. And the noise factor was amazing. And we got Dante coming on the line. Dante's from Heidelberg Primary School.
Hey, Dante.
Can you ask your question now, Dante?
Oh, what are you doing to keep fit during the quarantine?
Great question. For me, I went and I've got a few gym equipment, different dumbbells and bands and things like that. So our club, we're very lucky that we've got some really good staff who work with us for our fitness and also our nutrition. So every day we have to report to them on different things we're doing, how we're feeling. They'll send us back some workouts to do at home. Maybe we go for a run. I've been going down for a run on the beach a little bit and surfing when I can. But yeah, a lot of home workouts and good nutrition is really important in a time where, it's very easy to get lazy and probably snack a lot watching movies. So good nutrition is really important.
Thanks, Dante. A little bird told me that you don't have a basketball at home sometimes, Kyle, and you got a footy.
Yeah, I know. It's a weird one. A lot of basketballers don't have basketballs at home. When I come home, I just want to, if I'm going to go do something, it's probably kick the footy or go for a surf.
Just got a question coming in from Robbie Coyle. It's pretty small, but I'll do my best. Yeah, that might speed things up. Thanks, Raf.
Yeah, good question. I've just obviously the Boomers stuff was incredible, and post that, I'd planned to head over to New Zealand again in the New Zealand NBL, which is their national league. I was going to go there and play. I was also looking at some potential NBA training stuff as well again, but all of that's kind of been put in the works, and yeah, unfortunately, but also we're very lucky in Australia to be quite protected from this virus at the moment. So I haven't been doing too much, but I've also been really fortunate, as we all have, to be in such a safe country right now.
Yeah, you did. You did do a workout with Dallas Mavericks a few years ago, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll come back to that, because we've got Marley now with a question. Welcome, Marley. Marley's at Ivanhoe Grammar. She's up
Hey,
at
Marley.
the Plenty campus. Go ahead, Marley.
Like you, I am one of the smallest players in my basketball team. What advice would you give to us?
Great question, Marley. I think that being one of the smaller players in the team also brings a lot of responsibility, and really good responsibility. Whether it's ball carrying or scoring, but I think the big thing for a small player is really understanding that creating space is your friend. So the more you can use your speed and quickness to get away from your defensive player, it can really help yourself and also your teammates. And I think just having determination and believing in yourself. I think I'm a little bit of proof that you don't have to be the tallest player in the world to be a professional. So just dream big and back yourself in, self-belief.
Thanks, Marley. Thanks for joining us. I'm just going to chuck a couple of quick ones at you, Kyle, while hopefully Cooper comes on the line. Your opinions. What's more spectacular in basketball? Is it a three-pointer or a dunk?
Dunk's pretty cool, but I'm a bit jealous because I can't do them.
Okay. What's more satisfying, an assist or a steal?
Assist.
And what's more satisfying, three-pointer or assist?
A big three in the fourth quarter is pretty cool.
Yeah. So we've got Cooper still yet to join us. Hopefully he will. Got Jarvis. Hopefully can hear us. And Jarvis is from Penley and Essendon Grammar School.
Oh, I know Jarvis.
Fire away with your question, Jarvis. We're all ready for your question, mate.
Isolation have missed out. Pardon? Unfortunately, due to this isolation, we as 12-year-olds have missed out on an opportunity to try out for the SSV basketball team this year. What other pathways would you recommend for us to try follow a career similar to yours?
Great question, Jarvis. You always have good questions. I think I've spoke to you a few times back in the United days.
Yep.
Yeah, awesome question. I think it's really important to understand that, whilst this have been a missed opportunity, I think it also can create opportunity as well, where, you've got an opportunity to work at home on potentially some things that you may not have been able to, whether it's ball handling or different skill work. So hopefully you can do that. But I think the rep path is a really great one outside of the school path, if you don't obviously have the school stuff going on at the moment. I think I can see, is that a Sabres jersey going on right now?
No, this is just the Vic Metro one from last year.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, so I think the representative path and also the school path they're both amazing, but just believing in yourself and understanding that the more you work your way up through rep or school sport, whatever avenue you take, I don't think it's about that end result, sort of under 18s and onwards. So continuing to progress as much as you can until then.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Jarvis. Great question. Obviously a close mate of Kyle.
Yep.
We've got Addison on the line now. Kyle, Addison's at Ashley Park Primary School. Addison, if you got your question, fire away.
Hi, Kyle. I play for Eltham Wildcats. As a junior, did you do like extra training at home, and what was it?
Great question, Addison. Yeah, I did lots of training at home. One thing that I love doing around the house, which I found quite fun, was doing your everyday, day-to-day activities with your opposite hand. So for me, I loved brushing my teeth with my left hand, eating my cereal with my left hand, different things like that. It was a challenge, and sometimes I was a bit messy, and Mum would get mad at me, but I eventually got a lot better at it, and I think it really fine-tuned my sort of touch on my left hand. And now I actually prefer dribbling with my left and shooting layups with my left, sort of close range. So yeah, I think it really helped me, just different things around the house. Obviously, we had the backyard basketball court too, which I spent a lot of hours at.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot, Addison. Thanks for your question. Good luck with your school and also with the Eltham Wildcats. We've got Cooper from Bimbadine Heights Primary School. Cooper, are you ready to go with your question?
Yep, I've got two. Like you did, Kyle, I play for the Kilsyth Cobras. What was your favourite memory with playing with them? And what was the best lesson or skill that you learnt?
Okay,
Good question.
That's from Noah.
That's from Noah?
I think so.
Yep. Great.
We're just trying to work that one out. But
Great
it was
question.
a good question.
For Kilsyth, I think my most fond memory is we actually had a really similar team sort of all the way through from under 12s to youth league. So we kept about 8 of our guys all the way through, and we always lost. We'd always make finals, and we'd lose, and we'd lose, and we'd lose. And we made the youth league grand final, and we won by about 20 points. And we all held up the flag together, which was unbelievable. To considering we played together for 10 years, and then to finally win one together was absolutely amazing. And I think the lesson I learned from that was about resilience. And sometimes you're going to lose, and it's about getting back up. And we did it over and over again, and lost and lost and lost. And I think eventually that resilience finally paid off for us. So that's a big lesson.
Yeah, I believe that question was from Cooper. He just froze on the screen, but that was his question from Bimbadine Heights. And now we've got Noah on the line as well. Noah's at Tintern Grammar. He's got a question for you.
Who inspires you like the most?
Good question. My parents obviously are huge inspirations to me, all the work they've done. But if we're talking about a basketball player, Steve Nash was my idol growing up. If you're not 100% sure who Steve Nash is, and you're a guard and you're listening out there, he's a great guy to go and look at. He was a smaller guard. He won back-to-back MVPs in the NBA, and yeah, he was just amazing how he could create space and set his teammates off, and he was really creative, and he was my 100% inspiration for basketball.
There's some homework for you, Noah. Do a bit of research into Steve Nash. I want 500 words in an email to me by Monday morning. Have a great weekend, Noah. Thanks for joining us on SSV Live. Just got a couple more questions, Kyle, that are coming through. We've got Kai's question, which I'm quickly scrolling through to find. I've got one here before I find Kai's, from Lucas Hill, who's at Berwick College. Kyle, getting my K's all mixed up. How hard was it to make it in the NBL, being a smaller player?
I mean, it was definitely hard. It took a lot of hard work and skill refinement. But for me, I always had the self-belief I could do it. And I think you've got a really good chance of doing anything if you are determined. From that, I just knew that getting to that level was about having really, really, really good skills. And I knew that if I didn't have that combined with, being a smaller player, that wasn't going to work for me. So I understood that from a young age, and I really worked on my skills and skill work, and I practiced over and over and over, repetition. And fortunately, I'm here today.
And we're very thankful for that. Quick one from me. As you said earlier, it's pretty loud sometimes in at the what's the name of the Pheonix's home turf? It's got a great.
The fire pit.
Yes, the fire pit. It was pretty loud in there for old timers like me that night. So, how do you guys actually hear each other on court, or can you?
I mean, as a point guard, most games I finish with, and I've got a really sore throat, and I can barely talk. Because it is so loud, and you're constantly yelling. But there's plenty of times that you can't hear your teammates, and that combined with understanding the plays, and also signaling and different things like that, you've really got to be on top of that, because there's a high chance that you can't communicate in the game verbally, and then really tight huddles. Anytime there's a whistle, you got to get close together and talk about the next possession.
Okay, we've got a question from Kai from Templestowe Valley Primary School on screen. When you were our age, and he's at primary school, did you play more than just basketball? Great question, Kai.
Awesome question, Kai. I sure did. I tried everything sort of under the sun. I did tennis, footy. I played football all the way until under 14s. Surfing, skating, any sports. I did a bit of motorbike riding, snowboarding, everything I could. I think it's great to really fine tune all sort of motor skills, especially at the primary school age. Although basketball is a very skillful and fine-tuned game, so I think it's actually really beneficial to have multi-sports when you're quite young for basketball. I think it's really beneficial. So do as much as you can, but if you decide that basketball's for you, I definitely focus on it and really push as much as you can as soon as possible.
Well, we've had some great questions and interaction with some of our SSV cohort. We're just getting a question coming in. Hey, if being back to so loud in the fire pit, if you had some walk-on music for if you were in the WWE, what would it be?
Oh,
put you on
I'm
the spot.
not sure. I really don't know. The kids today would probably want me to say maybe Justin Bieber or something like that, but I'm going to go with Jimmy Barnes' Flame Trees because of Mum. She loves it.
I like the flame tree and the fire pit going together too, Kyle.
There you go.
We've got one from Lord Bro 7. What was your most memorable moment of the 2019-2020 NBL season?
Oh, there were so many. I'm going to answer with two. The first one was winning our opening game against United. That was huge for us. Just to sort of say that we were here and we were legit. And that was a huge, huge start to our campaign and our first ever game in the NBL. Also, right at the end of the season, we probably lost a few close games that could have put us in different positions. It's always easy to say could have, but one thing at the end of our very last game, we had close to 1,000 members stick around after the game and sit up behind the basket with us and take photos, and they were all smiling and telling us how proud of us they were. And to just see the community in the heartland of basketball really get around us, regardless of maybe some disappointing results. I think they saw the long-term picture of what we were going to achieve long-term.
Well, we're really thankful. Oh, we've got another question. If you can hang on a little bit longer with us, Kyle.
Yeah,
got it from Victoria Peterson. Growing up, did you have a basketball hoop in your backyard?
Yes, I did. Me and my brothers would wrestle and scratch and play on that all day.
Thanks, Victoria, for the question. We're nearly out of time. We really appreciate you sharing with us. So you were going to be off to New Zealand, and you were going to join a new team this time, the Wellington Saints, I believe. What were you kind of looking forward to, and what are you going to what are you planning to do in the near future? Especially keep in mind that you got the Asia Cup and maybe the Olympics, somewhere on the horizon. And what's coming up for Kyle?
Yeah, I mean, this time's probably given us a little bit of uncertainty right now, but I know right now my preparation is solely focused on Pheonix. As you know, the next thing, obviously we're not 100% sure, but the next thing that I've got in my thing is the NBL season starting in October. So we'll prepare as we do for that. Obviously Asia Cup stuff, I believe there's a window in November and February as well. So those things are definitely on my mind as well, as much as I can. Yeah, I think for me, it's just about challenging myself to get to the next level. I mean, my ultimate goal is to, play for Australia at the Olympics, play in the NBA, all of that still. And as far as those dreams may be away, they are still what drive me every day. And it's important to have them, whether they're, going to be achieved or not. I think it's really important to have something to drive towards.
I think that's great advice that, you got to have goals, you got to have dreams. And do you write them down too? Do you visualize them?
Yeah, I write them down a lot. I'll remind myself occasionally when I start getting a little bit frustrated or tired or whatever it is, as everyone does. I'll go back to my little sheet that I wrote down and have a look at what I wanted to achieve and see what I've ticked off, because I've been very lucky to tick some things off. And when you tick something off on one of those things you've written down, it is a huge, huge success and a huge, something you should be really proud of. And it means a lot.
We're at the last couple of questions. Sorry, just to touch on that. Someone else I heard speak a year or so ago. It was a really good coach speaking. He said sometimes writing it down could also include drawing a picture of it or having a picture of it. This person visualised playing at the highest level in Australian football, and he actually drew a picture of the MCG on with him with wearing a premiership medallion, which is something you were able to do, winning a championship a few years ago as well. So you have ticked lots of boxes, but I reckon you got so much in front of you. We've got Lavani Latu from Banyule Primary School asking a question. They also play for Rosanna Basketball Clubs and Crossover United and Kilsyth Comp and Eltham Wildcats, EDJBA Comp. Well, they're right out there. What age did you play rep, Kyle? And did you opt to play rep or were you scouted?
My first year of rep, I was 11 years old. It was called the nursery squad at Kilsyth, but sort of under 12s, as you guys would call it now. I was invited to come try out by a Cobras coach after a Meteors game. I was very little and I loved footy and I wasn't really 100% sure what I was keen on doing, but yeah, I definitely was asked to come try out. And I think once I did that tryout and realised that maybe I was all right at basketball, I think I really started loving it after
that. Thanks again. There was one question that popped up on the screen, and it was something like, "How did you find, or how great was it meeting Melo and RJ in the NBL?" Because I know they're very popular with a lot of the players, and we're talking about LaMelo Ball, who played up at Wollongong Hawks, and RJ, and I'm struggling on the surname, Hampden, who played for the Breakers, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they're incredibly talented young guys right now. They're 18 years old, 19 years old, and playing in a professional league. So, they may have got knocked at times because they weren't having 30 points, and I think LaMelo bounced back with that and had a few amazing games. So, they were young guys, and I think getting into a professional league has really excelled them. I know both of them have spoken on that. During the games, I obviously had to guard them a lot, as they were both kind of my position as guards. So that was a great experience playing against them, and going at them as well, and trying to beat them as you would try and beat all your opponents. So we fortunately beat them both. We won the game, so that was important to me. They're going to have a bright future, and they're also going to have pretty busy pockets, I'd say.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Kyle. Really appreciate your involvement with us today, and Southeast Melbourne, Pheonix. Love the Pheonix. Some of the players came to some of our state finals last year, so we're really enjoying our involvement, and especially the kids who are getting to mix with you. It's exciting to have a franchise back out in the southeast, the heartland of Victoria or Melbourne. And your game, someone wrote, and I do agree, it kind of resembles someone who's a very famous Australian player. But I'm curious to know who your hero is. Who do you look up to?
Growing up, I always looked up to sort of two guys in Australia, and that was CJ Bruton and Shane Heal. I often get told about the Shane Heal thing. I don't know if it's just because I got blonde hair too, but Shane was an amazing player, and if I could have half the career Hammer had, I'd be really, really grateful.
Okay, I was actually fishing a bit even beyond that a little bit, and a bit more modern day, because some of your game really seems to be it's really looking like Paddy Mills, who we know plays for San Antonio, is a national hero, and I really hope that you could be working with Paddy in the near future. That would be exciting, I think, an amazing opportunity, because you bring in the same energy when you're coming on the court. You can just feel it. You are a human spark plug. It's great.
I appreciate it. Yeah, Paddy was definitely in the forefront of my mind. I was just thinking early days, but he's influenced my game a lot. My partner's sister's husband is Joe Ingles, so Joe's helped me a lot. I'm constantly in contact with him over in the States, and he's always watching my games. And Paddy, I'm sure he watches a lot of the NBL too, and had the opportunity to scrimmage against him a lot. So, and he's an unbelievable player. So I'm always watching him over with the Spurs and trying to pick what I can improve myself on as well to get like him.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Kyle. We've gone a little bit over time, but really appreciate your time you spent with us. Wish you well just stay well, stay healthy. Looking forward to the NBL season, and really looking forward to the Southeast Melbourne Pheonix. Just really, coming into their own in their second season. Good luck, mate.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for having me, guys.
Virtual fist bump. That's about we can do. And thanks for all Raf's work behind the scenes, and for all you joining today on SSV Live. It's been a great episode. Next week, I believe we've got an SSV ambassador, Ashley Brennan, who is still involved with SSV and was, or still, they're always an Olympian, so was an Olympian gymnast. So I wish everybody have a great week. Look forward to Friday next week, 1 o'clock, with Ashley Brennan. Thanks, Kyle.
Thanks, guys. See you later.